Okay, Nick Dutch back on the camera yet again, talking today about dream interpretation. Dream interpretation is fascinating, but just like everything else, which is within the Venn diagram set of things that could be regarded as almost like New Agey or even occult related, it stimulates us to ask more questions. It does not necessarily provide us with more answers. When someone approaches me as a professional tarot reader and asks me to interpret a dream, they're normally asking for a reply which can be given to them within about 30 seconds for a duration of about 30 seconds. You know what I mean? Just a very short, very quick answer which is targeted to their needs. So I personally would base it upon some of the things which are relevant to the situations that we are discussing within the call, which is essentially what is necessary. The actual interpretations of any particular dream can be very wide and very diverse. Freud and Jung and other psychological and psychodynamic theorists postulated about dreams and what they meant. If we take the example of Freud, there's two main ideas which really stick out in my mind from his writings on the interpretation of dreams. The first one was his mention of the psychosexual stages and various objects or items which have some kind of significance within the dream world for an individual, had some relation to either a part of the body in a psychosomatic hallucination type context, or within the context of the parts of the body in terms of psychosexual stages, such as the anal stage and all the rest of that. But Freud did place a certain quantity of importance on dreams as a way of understanding, or attempting to understand, I should say, attempting to understand the workings of the mind of an individual, or indeed to focus on some hang-ups that an individual might have with reference to their body, their parents, their friends, people they've had some forms of relationship or sexual attraction to, and or fear of. There was one particular dream which stuck out in my mind a lot. I believe that was in the interpretation of dreams by Freud. And there was mention of a person who had migraine headaches, and they would dream of something in the loft. I can't remember what it was, something in the attic, And this was symptomatic of the headache, and the top of the building was therefore the head having something wrong with it, which we could say psychosomatically could be the products of the metabolic activity of the brain still in the liquid surrounding the brain and being picked up by the dream sensation, for instance. Just by this one particular example, I think that anybody could see that dreams could actually have a wide variety of different meanings. With myself, I often suffer from digestive problems with my guts, either infections or let's just say digestive problems. And in my dreams, when I've got digestive problems, I would either dream of bowls or cauldrons, or let's say inside the boot, inside the trunk of a car. I would see things that are not very nice, such as insects or snakes, or something that looks vaguely pussy or slimy. And this I could use as a form of warning to myself that part of my mind has picked up that, oh my god, yes, something else has gone wrong with my digestive system, and I may need to work out which medicines I'm going to need for it within the coming days. So I personally can use that as an early warning system for some aspects of my own health. But dream interpretation can be very varied and very complex. When someone is asking me about a particular dream, I have to think about what the objects or the characters in the dream could represent, and whether the call is from someone who's got certain issues which I may already be aware of, and to see whether there is some kind of correlation there. Often when you are a tarot reader, as I am, and it's a very serious job because of the very serious questions which are asked of me, the very serious situations come across, I have to take on the task of the dream interpretator sorry, dream interpreter, with a great deal of seriousness. It's not just a party trick. With some clients, yes, they are just after entertainment pure and simple. But with other clients, they're after something much more useful, which has some kind of relation to their own mind and being, which we could loosely term their soul, you know, so it is like a spiritual experience. It's dealing with them and their essence, the essence of their being, which is therefore their spirit. I have to think about the hallmarks of the dream. I have to think about other dreams that I have had and what they would probably have meant, bearing in mind the circumstances of my life at the time. It can be very in-depth, but there's the idea that you can go to certain types of bookshops and just buy a book on dream interpretation and look up, I don't know, car or lorry, and it will tell you what a car or lorry means. It's not quite that simple. Each individual will have their own symbolical representations or understanding of the way that things relate to each other, you know, semantically. The meanings of, let's say, a car or a lorry to that individual will be different from the meaning of a car and a lorry to another individual. So if you're doing your own dream interpretations, you've got to do a lot of introspective analysis to work out what the various things could mean prior to coming to any hard and fast conclusions as to the total resultant meaning of that one dream experience for you. It can be rather complex, but it's a very individually specific. But there are some sensations or, you know, types of dream experience or indeed textures of emotion which can come through in dreams, which can be symptomatic of the fact that it could be a psychosomatic hallucination, or it is a relationship type dream issue, or it's to do with fear of, I don't know, being beaten up or raped, or, you know, something like that. It can require a great deal of self-knowledge to be able to interpret someone else's dreams, because you've also got to have a certain quantity and quality of objectivity. And no, you're not going to get the results. You're not going to get the answer perfectly. That's not possible. But you can get you know, a light dusting of form, so to speak, on the meaning of what the dream could be, and that's more or less as far as you can go. And just use that as a moment of contemplation, rather than to say, yes, I now have the final answer, I know what the dream meant. It's not clear-cut, it's not hard and fast, it is very allegorical, and you've got to bear that in mind too. But it's just one of those other things that we in the New Age world, occult world, spiritual world, religious world can do to give us more things to contemplate, and maybe to add extra meaning to things we're going through in our day-to-day lives, or indeed going back a long way into our personal histories. Okay? It can be a self-developmental tool, but it can't be something which is concrete and clear-cut. Speak to you in a while. Nick Duff signing out.